Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a new series on the channel. Outdoor Lives. Adventure awaits, and I'm going to bring you adventure all summer long. Today we're in a John boat. We got our adventure companion who's currently mapping the hell out of the camera. But we're going to try to fish some new water. I live in the Pacific Northwest. This is a 7-acre pond, and it connects up to the state forest. We're going to do a couple of laps here around the main part of the pond and see what the day brings. Adventure awaits, you know? Hey, Mr. Shacklefoot, good morning, bro. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a good one, man. We got our sidekick with us. We in the John boat. We're gonna be doing some laps, hoping to fish some new water. Gonna probably venture up into the top part of the pond, maybe into the state forest. Might go view that beaver dam. It's Friday morning, we ain't gotta work, and the world's our oyster. We're gonna just throw out one rod, rigged up with a Cinco off the bottom. We're kind of getting away from the rooster tails, and we're gonna kind of eventually run to the worm and bobber route. But right now we're just gonna do a couple laps around the pond, see what we can't catch. I brought a favorite lure with me. I wasn't really planning on trolling for this video. I was planning on heading up and doing some casting around the corner. Pond levels are real low because of that beaver dam. It feels blasphemous having one pole in the water. I might pull the bobber and wacky rig an actual live night crawler and see if we can't catch something. Got a full battery on the mini coder. You know, it is possible. Here's the thing. I'm pretty much the only guy that fishes this body of water. This body of water is connected to every body of water within 20 miles. That's an exaggeration. Maybe 10 miles, 10, 20 miles. It depends. Everything is kind of connected, and I am the only guy who fishes this. The only reason we don't get big bass is, one, a lot of times these ponds get overcrowded, and two, we have 3 days a year that get above 70 degrees. So those are two kind of things that keep that large bass population down. Low water temps year round. On the opposite side of that coin, it don't get real cold here. We got maybe 5 days that it actually freezes. And when I say freeze, I mean frost on the roof, but not permanent. Like the lake hardly ever freezes over. But we're kind of just trolling this Cinco. I'm going to head down towards the other end of the pond. But you're absolutely right that 15 pounds could be possible. The biggest I've got is about 3 in not just my backyard, but in this particular water system as a whole. A lot of these lakes aren't fished. They're just ponds and streams with just natural ecosystems. And a lot of them don't get real big and they don't get real deep. My particular pond is 20 feet at the deepest point because it was dredged out in the 90s to kind of help move some of this water around. And I'm going to let a little more line out on this. Rod today is nothing special. 8-foot Abu Garcia Black Max. It's got a pretty big egg sinker on it, so we're probably just kind of cruising the bottom. Once we get to the far end of the pond, I don't know if it's let's call it the south end. I know there's no real sense of direction here on YouTube, but sounds like you, Rusty, are building your own pond, huh? Why else we got that dozer work going on? No promise on some catching, but I promise we'll give it our best shot, you know? And I've noticed a real big increase since that beaver dam up north. I've noticed a real big increase on catfish. I've been getting a lot more bullhead catfish lately than I have in the past. Got some neighbors out enjoying the water, so I'm gonna kind of keep it quiet here for a minute. We got some little kids fishing dead in front of us, which is awesome, but not trying to put them on cam, so we're just going to do a U-turn, head back the other way. You know, I always want to fish this main part, but I think the real adventure for today is to head north into the state park, and what do you think? Gotta consult with the navigator. Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's having a great day. If you want to make this live a little more interesting, let me know where you're from and what you fish for. I'd love to hear from you. Right now, we're just in the backyard pond, trolling, mainly for largies. Weren't really set up to troll, but I can't not fish the main part. If you stick around for a little bit, we're heading deep into a state forest, and we're going to fish some virgin water, or at least water I haven't fished this year. Seems like every time I head up that way, I'm heading up that way for a specific reason. I think there's deeper little pockets. I want to head out and see if I can't find some of these bass. Makes sense, Rusty. You know, I always wish I had property, you know, acreage. And I guess I kind of do if you include, like, the access, right? Like, I got access to acreage through this pond and eventually the canal. But my actual lot's pretty little, so maintenance is pretty low. But I grew up on 50 acres up north, and I know what it's like to maintain a property that size. Wind's starting to kick up a little bit. I do, Dirt Bike Kid, or sorry, Dirt Biking 22. I do remember you. You were on my live just a couple days ago, talking about a 5 pound bass or smallie. You were talking about smallmouth. You caught a 5 pound smallie. Don't remember where you're from. Those are my two things. I usually try to remember where people are from and what they fish for. North Oregon. That's a pretty specific spot. I'm from Southwest Washington. So, I mean, we're practically neighbors, buddy. We got a Canadian. I feel like I should definitely make a maple. You know what, Mr. Canadian? If you keep watching, there's a good chance you're going to see a beaver. Like at least a beaver dam. We're headed north, and every time I head north, I always end up at the beaver dam, and I usually end up tearing it apart. I'm going to try to focus on my fishing right now, but I know me, and I know what's going to happen. Good munchie. Good morning to you. Oh, you're fishing out of John Day. I'm fishing the Columbia too. Not normally this time of year, but I gotta reel up my gear. It looks like we're at the end of the pond, but all that means is we're gonna go through some lily pads, and then we're gonna head into the state forest. It's just gonna get a little tricky. Mr. Dirtbike, I do most of my fishing down at the jetty at Cape D, or I'll launch a boat out of El Waco and head out and get crabs in the Pacific Ocean. That's, or salmon. I mean, last year I was getting salmon this time out in the ocean. Problem is, my stomach got weak, man. You know, I just get out there and it's crossing that Columbia River bar. It is one of the deadliest bars in the world. And hopefully, I just don't got the stomach like I used to. All right, we're gonna try to navigate through these weeds. We had a. I'll turn you guys around. It's pretty cool. It looks like it's the end of the pond, but it really opens up into a. You'll just have to see. Hang out for a minute. Hopefully, I got everybody shouted out. Welcome to everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, everybody's having some adventure. Shout out to everybody. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. There we go. I got fat fingers. For a little guy with small hands, I got fat fingers. How's the audio now? I think we're good. We pushed through this brush. There is a massive down tree just off to my right. And I want to throw a worm out. My original plan was to... thanks, Rusty. Thanks for letting me know. That's alright. You just missed out on some cursing. Like a whole lot of cursing. Pond temps must have increased because... the algae is starting to get pretty thick. Normally we have a lot of flow through here, but I mean we're not quite stagnant, but we're not. I mean the algae's not telling me a good story. We're in probably 6 to 8 feet of water. There's a big down tree over here, and I want to just give this time and throw a worm out. The algae's so thick, I think my bobber might just be sitting on the top. We'll see. This is just one of the spots I wanted to fish. There's a few. I think it's going to be pretty... wind's kind of pushing me around. I was hoping I wouldn't have to drop my anchor, but... we'll see what happens. We got a bobber and a worm out. Let's throw the Cinco around. Went with like a midnight. Just, Texas rig. I hear big old bullfrogs, which is always fantastic, right? Who doesn't enjoy a good bullfrog? And this is relatively virgin water. I don't think I've fished it this year. And before me, I don't think anybody's fished it for hard to say. Maybe some top water would have been a better move for this. Because either I got the world's heaviest Cinco or I'm dragging. I can see it. I can, and this is on a weedless rig, mind you. Oh boy, I'm going to move my soda because I don't want to get it covered in shit. Boom. Epic catch, right? Boy, that's about what I was expecting, to be honest. I think our worm and bobber setup is gonna come in clutch here. Might pull, but this is tough. This is tough fishing. But anytime you venture out somewhere new, and anytime you're in a body of water that's relatively slow moving, you can expect this kind of fishing. Well, if I sat here all day, I think there's a little patch where it's not so weedy at the end. I think we're gonna move to a little better water. I think that's the plan. There's another little spot, maybe 10 yards up to our, I say 10, but I'm actually doing the opposite of guy math. It's probably closer to 20, 30 yards just off to our right. And I think we should reel up, move our gear. Oxygen levels must be terrible in this part of the pond because I just saw, oh man, there's a dead perch. Not even 5 feet off from the boat. Ain't no point in showing nobody, but I think we move. I don't think we're going to get any real fishing done here. Let's kind of re-gear. See if we can't find a spot a little bit open. I don't mind a little bit of weeds, but just where we are currently, I can't fish at all, so. Tell you what, man, this little motor is sending it. We got it just up off the top, and we're damn near throwing a wake. Kind of opened up a little bit. We're in a little deeper water. I mean, not much. This is kind of spot number 2. There's lots of lily pads here, but there's not that thick algae. And I think we're gonna... I'm hoping there's big bass lurking around. We got our worm and our bobber. We're going to throw that just in that little canal we were just in. Kind of where it's a little more open. This way over here, there's some massive lily pads. It really is, Rusty. I mean, compared to the mini coda, I mean, it doesn't get any thicker. Grass-wise, algae-wise, lily pads, we're chopping them all. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. And I'm not sponsored. This isn't a brand deal. Apparently there's a wildlife animal rescue. We're going to keep an eye on that bobber. I think that feels pretty good. I feel confident about where my worm landed. And this is exciting. Hey, shout out to the 7 people up in here. I think we're almost in the state forest now. Fishing water that probably hasn't been fished in who knows, right? It's probably, I mean, I don't want to say virgin, but like, doesn't that grow back after a certain amount of time? Like, it's probably been 20. I fished up here probably about 2 years ago now, but I haven't actively fished this spot for, about 2 years. We got a bobber and a worm off that side of the boat. And there's some really big lily pads. But with that being said, hopefully the algae isn't as thick. For that, we got a Cinco. I want to call it Midnight Blue. Texas rigged. Got roosters crowing. I mean, come on, it don't get much adventurer than this. Adventurer. Just to give you guys a little idea of how we're fishing. This is how we're fishing. That's a weedless rig, by the way. Hook facing up, supposed to be weedless. We might switch it up a little. Should have brought some topwater. Like a topwater frog would have been fire. Finding joy on this journey. Hey, I don't think I've seen you around, man. Thank you for commenting. And I'm doing just what your name says, right? Finding joy, right? Friday morning. Welcome to the channel. Outdoor adventures all summer long. If that sounds like your thing, check it out. We got lots of videos. Happy to have you on the live. I'm going to ask you every question I ask every new person. Where are you from and what do you fish for? Or if you don't fish, what do you do? Camp, hike, boat? Joe, good morning to you, man. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. Like I said, if you're new here and you enjoy this kind of thing, do me a favor and hit that sub button. If you want to. You know what? If it's your first time and you're like, I don't know this dude. He might be some weirdo who carries a chihuahua around in his coat. I'm not sure that's the vibe I'm looking for, then you ain't got a sub, you know? Like, ain't nobody twisting your wrist. But on the other side of that coin, if you're like, that dude is in the middle of a John boat with the chihuahua in his coat in the middle of nowhere. then feel free to sub up. Yeah, man, I am out on the West Coast. I live in the Pacific Northwest. And the ocean is probably about a mile behind you guys. And I live on a 7-acre pond that runs through this canal up into this state forest where I'm currently at. And I do all kinds of fishing. Sometimes I'm hunting dinosaurs down on the Columbia, white sturgeon. I guess my favorite fish is probably salmon. I'm a big salmon fisherman. I catch probably 20 to 30 salmon per year. But this is where it all started. You know, not here specifically, but in a backyard pond just like this, chasing those things you mentioned, yellow perch, bluegill, crappie, bass. That's where my heart kind of lies. And I lost a little sight of that, you know, chasing salmon and big fish. And don't get me wrong, I still enjoy that. But there's something to be said about hanging out in a john boat with your dog in the middle of nowhere versus combat fishing out in the ocean chasing a 20-pound Chinook. Don't get me wrong, I do both. But this is the kind of vibe I'm set on. You know, I've only caught sturgeon one time, and I'll tell you the story because everybody asks. It was the biggest fish I ever caught. I was out camping on the Columbia River, largest river in Washington State. And I was fishing for spring Chinook. Chinook or king salmon, whatever you want to call them. And something hit my line. And I thought, all right, I got a big fish. And then I go to set that hook, and I said, oh shit, I'm just snagged. Something floated down the river. I'm snagged on a log. And so, you know, I spent about 10 minutes thinking I'm just snagged on a log. And then it takes off, goes on a run. And the drag starts screaming. And I only got 30-pound mono on it because I'm not expecting what's on the other end of that line. And I see it roll over. You know, comes up to the surface, rolls over. And I said, that ain't a salmon. Salmon will jump. And then he goes off a run, lays straight down on the bottom. And I spent about 30 minutes just slowly reeling this guy in, you know, not horsing him, wearing the fish out. Yeah, and it turned out to be a 6-foot, 120-pound sturgeon. You know, not overly long in the world. 6 foot isn't overly long. Biggest fish I ever caught. And unfortunately, he was out of season, and there were too many witnesses. So back he went. But as far as fighting fish go, you know, I guess that was probably a once-in-a-lifetime type thing. I'm probably not going to head out and do that. I might. There's an itch to get there, and I'm pretty close to where those kind of fish hang out. So there is kind of an itch to get back out there and do it. But he didn't go on big runs. He went on 1, maybe 2 runs, laid on the bottom, and made me drag him in like he was a sheet of plywood. You know, and I wasn't really set up for that. I had a pretty good rod. I wasn't worried about that, but I was only running 30-pound mono. And I had a spinning reel. So, like, I had, like, a 2-bearing spinning reel. And that's great for a 20, 30-pound Chinook. But when you're putting in serious work like that, I wish I would have had. But long story short is I got him in. And that was it. You know, that was the my biggest fish I ever caught story. I appreciate everybody up in the chat. Sorry if I haven't had a chance. Yeah, well, you know, like, here's the thing about fishing down on the Columbia. You never know what you're going to hook into, right? You know, a lot of times, man, it's just an old fishing story. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to it. You could be doing anything else, and you're here listening to me tell old fishing stories while fishing, and I think that's pretty damn cool. We're going to throw this little Cinco around. There's an open canal behind us without some weeds. We're going to give that a little baby toss. And we're going to drag it along the bottom. Well, I said there was no weeds, but I think the lie detector determined that was a lie. Weedless rig operation, right? Yeah, fishing and camping. Pretty much about what my channel's about. You know, the YouTube algorithm, and I know nobody gives a damn about the YouTube algorithm, right? But I'm going to just tell you how it looks from my perspective. Since you joined from this live, you ain't never going to be shown my long form content. So if you want to check out like my fishing adventures, you're going to have to go to the page directly. And I know that's a bit of a pain in the butt, but if it's something you're interested in, it's a pretty good way to get, you know, to keep yourself entertained. I just got back from a, are we talking about my dog? Is it asleep? Hey. You know, I was real leery about getting the small dog. And as you can tell, this is my wife's dog, right? But I was real, ooh. Oh, we're getting bites. Oh, we hooked up. We hooked up. He don't feel big, but we got him. Yeah, baby. QP largemouth? QP, quarter pound. He went after that Cinco. Come on. He a juvenile. He a QP. But look at the mouth on that guy, fellas. I'll take it, man. That's a win. I knew if I threw that Cinco around, hi, buddy. Call him PB. Let's go. Back he goes. All right, first fish of the day. Get that skunk off. Let's... Felt good about that. That was just a Cinco in the shallow. Surprised, I mean, my bobber's sitting right next to it. Yeah, QP, we're not talking about weed. We're just talking about small bass. But, I mean, did I just expose myself? You're right, probably nobody uses that term. Yeah, probably nobody uses that term when talking about bass. I guess I just doxed my previous life. But I knew there had to be fish here. That makes me happy. Let's keep throwing that Cinco around. Let's see if we can't hook up a little more. I appreciate the lucky fish dance, man. That helps set a good vibe, you know? let's have him go get his big brother. You know, marijuana is legal in my state. I just can't do it. You know, in my teenagers, you experiment, and then in my 20s, I dabbled, and then now I'm just so old, like, and the weed's so strong that I was at a barbecue the other day, and my buddy's like, "Hey, man, try this," and it's like a joint, and I said, "Well, what the hell's this powder on it?" And he's like, "That's keef." And I'm like, "All right, I know what keef is, you know." But goddamn, that thing was so strong. 2 hits, and I'm sitting in the back of my truck, laying down, wondering what the color purple number 7 tastes like, you know? And I'm like, this isn't a good fucking time, you know? I'm not talking I smoked a whole 1/8 and went to Mars. I'm talking 2 hits on this thing, and I'm higher than giraffe nuts. I'm all right with a joint or two. Like I said, man, I'm not anti anything, but I want more than 2 hits. Hey, they're talking about you. Sometimes I can gaslight her and she'll start, that's it, you know. Here's the thing, I don't need weed to have a good time. Don't need nothing. And I know that sounds like I'm a poster child for some kind of like sobriety program. But no, I mean, if it makes the situation better. Yeah, I quit drinking alcohol. I mean, we don't want to go full disclosure. Unc's got a bit of a past. Had to quit drinking. Got tired of going to jail. We'll just put it that way. And I haven't had a drink in about 6-7 years. We just slow dragging that Cinco. Kind of along the bank. Kind of along both banks simultaneously, considering it's probably only 8 feet across. But I think we're stuck in some weeds. Well, if nothing else, I'll be making it easier to get my little trolling motor through there. I'll throw off this side of the boat. You know, like, I've probably told this story 100 times, but, you know, I never figured myself as a small dog guy. And, I'll tell it, Rusty, if you've heard it, I'm sorry. But for everybody else, this dog was just wandering the neighborhood, right? And I know that sounds weird depending on where you're from. But she was just wandering the neighborhood. And I didn't have any tags or anything. So I follow her home, and it's in this rundown trailer in the neighborhood. And I say, "Hey, you know, your dog keeps getting out," and it's an elderly couple who lives there. I said, "You need some help? I'll build you guys a fence. I got some old chicken wire. Build you a little fence so this dog doesn't get out, because we got other dogs and coyotes and all kinds of stuff that live in the neighborhood. And they said, well, our kids got it and they couldn't take care of it. So they said, we can't really take care of it. We can't really afford for it. We can't build a fence. We don't get, they're an elderly couple. They didn't really want the dog. So I went home, and I already had a dog at the time, and I wasn't really looking for a new one. And especially a small one. Wasn't really looking for a small one. Wanted something I could take fishing, ride around in the truck, take camping. So I talked it over with my wife, and she said, yeah, we could take another dog. And I was real reluctant. Then it said, all right, it'll be your dog, right? You can, if you want the dog, I'll get it for you. It can be your dog. I got mine, and this one will be yours. Well, a couple months goes by, and so long story short, we get the dog. We talk to him and go back over there, pick her up, and take her home, and right away, I just noticed she was real shy, just real timid, scared of her own shadow, and but really latched onto me, really heavily, and didn't matter what I was doing. She wanted to be there. I'd be out fishing in the backyard, and she'd be shaking like a leaf, sitting at my feet, just scared of the world, but braving the world to be with me. And I just fell in love, man. I just said, all right, that little dog needs a protector. And that's a different role, because every dog I've ever had protects me. I don't have to protect it. It protects me. This one was shy, timid, scared of everything, and needed something to protect it. So I started picking her up and just putting her in my coat, and I'll put a belt around my waist and just carrying her around in my coat. And a coat led to a purse, and you can call it a satchel if you want, but at the end of the day, it's kind of a dog purse that I carry her around in. And she's been the best friend for the last 4 years. It's you get some of those big alpha dogs, or they've owned everything from German Shepherds to Rottweilers to Labs. And those big dogs want to be with you, but the role's a little different. This small dog, I'm her protection, We want to drag this Cinco through these lily pads. Hopefully we can find something. We can slowly drag it. I imagine there'd be pretty big. Yeah. There's a spot just around the corner. We might move locations. The thing about this part of the, I don't know what you want to call it, lake or canal, it opens up in various different spots. It all worked out. I ended up losing my other dog. Shortly after, to be honest. Just got real sick and passed away, and you can't replace them, but kind of helped made that passing a little easier. So I probably needed her just as much as she needed me. Doug Troutfisher, welcome. Yeah, mine's a Chihuahua Dachshund. And this is the second one of those I've owned. And the other one was more Dachshund, and he was very adventurous, brave, ready to take on the world. Avid hunter. He'd clean out a barn full of mice. He was a working dog. This one is more Chihuahua than Dachshund, and she's more of a slumber heater companion, and it's a different vibe for sure. SMPO, welcome everybody. Hope everybody's having a great time. We're just live fishing in the middle of nowhere. If you're just getting here, we're technically in my backyard pond. The house is maybe a quarter mile that way. We're almost into the state forest. Just having a good adventure this Friday. If you stick around and you ain't got nothing going on, there's a pretty good chance we'll end up at a beaver dam. I haven't been up there for about 2 weeks, and I'd like to check it out. But right now, we got our gear up. We are trying to turn around. Unsuccessfully, I might add. Oh boy, let's not do that. Alright, trying to turn around. There's another little spot. There's about 2 more spots before we get to the beaver dam that I want to fish. If I can. This was spot number 2. And our first connect. I think we actually hooked up with a... Hey, happy Friday. If you're just getting here, man, appreciate it. We're trying to navigate some thick brush. Hey, they think you're alive. Oh my God, my shirt's licking me. It's a little gross to let your dog lick your face, and you guys can judge me if you want, but, she gets real cold, so I can always tell how cold she is by her tongue, and, nothing worse than, let's see what happens if we go like this. Yo, I am impressed, because we are probably in about 8 inches of water, thick lily pads, grass, weeds, and this little electric motor is cooking. I mean, we're throwing... If you guys fish, you know what little power a trolling motor has. So for this motor to kick at that speed is relatively impressive. We're gonna fish this area. It really opens up right here. There's a huge shallow pond just off to the right. But, I don't know how honest I want to be, but we're a long ways in the middle of nowhere, and I've had some coffee, so we're coming up upon a waterfall. I'm going to angle you guys that way, so just hang out, enjoy the view. We'll be back to fishing in a moment. Wait, I should turn the camera before I, there we go. I should start whistling or something. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right, we back. I am facing completely the wrong way. I'm gonna turn the boat a little. Let's get a line out. I am really happy about how this water over here to my right looks. We're gonna do the boring worm, and oh my god, I just found the best thing ever. Yeah, cherry Coke. 0 sugar because I'm old. All right. Life continues. Definitely looking forward to throwing that Cinco around in this new spot, but I think worm, bobber equals better fishing. Let's turn you this way so you guys get a little better view. Oh, we're getting... I think we're getting bit just resting it off the side of the boat. We're not in real deep water here. I'm sure with that long of a leader, I'm clearly on the bottom. I'm going to throw him out behind me. Not quite what I had in mind. But better than a kick in the pants. Hey, shout out to the 12 people. Hope everybody's having a great day. If I missed your shout out. No, it's not a Yaka. It's, I think it's just, I want to say Zoom. Midnight Green. Texas, not Midnight Green. I don't know, man. I don't even know what it is, to be honest. I just kind of had it. And, we already got one on it. Normally I'm a pumpkin green, especially in murky water. Tell you what, this is a lot better fishing than the last spot, though. If you guys are just getting here, it's me and my sidekick hunting for largemouths in the middle of nowhere. Guarantee you I'm the only person who have fished this water in the last 20 years. Hanging out, telling stories if I got one. Beautiful Friday. Wouldn't mind a little sunshine, but that just ain't where I live. We also brought a little spinner with us. We might switch it out. Yeah, you know, It seems like we get some kind of new, ridiculous spinner or lure. They look like those little puff balls. Is that what you're talking about with the little spiky things? I know they're all on trend and stuff, but I don't want to spend. Here's the thing. Every time I spend more than $10 on a lure, I get to use it 10 times, and then I break it off, right? Or I throw it into a tree. And I'm not being a hater, but I'd say 80% of the largemouth I caught is on a speed worm, Texas rig, or a Ned head. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, everything. I mean, I got a soft spot for a jackhammer or a. Oh, we on. Just like that, baby. What do we got? Oh, shit. We lost him. We were on. He didn't feel real big, but we were on. He nailed that. I think that Cinco just cruising, dragging it real slow. I think maybe if I would have had a little harder hook set, we would have got that guy. Damn, that would have been fish too. I don't know what my bobber's doing. That's a good sign, means there's fish around. In between the vast amounts of weeds. Hey, I don't know what all those little emojis mean, but shout out to you. Yeah, I missed it. I was just lollygagging. And he had it. He spit it, though. I ignored the first nibble. Let him nibble it again. But on that Cinco, I don't know. You're right. It was operator error, 100%. Half tempted to drag it through the lily pads, but there's so much thick grass there that I think we're just working the edge. You alright? Problem with your chihuahua in the coat technique is she gets hot. It's like a little heater. And we're up to almost 60 degrees today, which is a heat wave where I live. I have like a little swim jig with me. And I'm half tempted to switch it out, but we've been getting, and I mean that's a big Cinco. He probably 6 inches, and that's not even guy math. I think I'm gonna throw my bobber with my worm in a little different area. We're drifting a little bit. The wind kind of kicked up. You know what I just realized? I don't have a 2-pole endorsement. Next part of that is, if you're going to report me to Fish and Game, good luck. I don't even think the gamies are going to get out here. Park ranger, there's no roads. There's no roads out here. And unless they were in some kind of mud boat, I don't think Fish and Game's really stopping by. We're going to throw this one kind of out in the lily pads. It looks like there's a little break. Yeah, right there. I like that. That's sexy. I want to take some slack. Stop drifting. Why? Alright, that's better. Hey, Miles. Bozeman, Montana. Shit, man. That sounds like a great place to be from. Last I heard, Bozeman was overrun with like tourists and a lot of people moving in. Do we switch it up? I think we switch it up. I think we switch it up from Cinco to a little fancier version of the Cinco. I don't know what you want to call this. Swim jig, I guess, with the Colorado blade. I think that's going to be our move for now. I think we're going to wheeling, huh? You know, we're speaking the same language. I'm out here in Washington State, and you know, everybody thinks Washington State is blue-haired transgender people from Seattle. And it is. You know, I don't always agree with the politics, but I don't always agree with any politics. So, it is what it is. But, I live in a small town. I think we got about 800 people. And most of them just... I live in a tourist town, to be honest. Right next to the ocean. And... not much to do except for wheeling, fishing, hiking, camping. The only problem is we don't get mud. It's hard to go mudding if you don't get mud, right? We get tons of rain, but the soil out here ain't no good. It's I live on a sandbar. You know, the ocean is about a mile to my left, that way, and on that side, if you go about a mile, you have a giant bay, like a saltwater bay that connects to the ocean. And I live on a 32-mile stretch, 40-something miles peninsula. So I got salt water both sides and lots of lakes and streams in the middle. We got that little swim jig rigged up with the Colorado blade. I'm hoping that's going to provide... I should have left that weight on there. That's all right. We don't need to throw it far. We just need to throw it. First cast, new lure. What do we got? He's flopping around. You can't live in the boat, broski. Baby bass, let's get him. That lure was the right switch. He ain't even a QP. Largemouth number 2. Name him Hector, because, why not? Back you go, little fella. Yeah. Don't you love it when something works out? You switch lures. And, I'll tell you what, fish catch number 2. That makes me happy. I think the dog was licking my hand for flavor there, but I figured a little smaller presentation might get the job done, and absolutely did. I was just about to comment on the movement. Oh man, we can't miss. Dinks. Dinks for days. We lost that one at the boat. But that's fucking 2 casts back-to-back hookups. I guess it doesn't count if you don't get it in the boat. But switching to that smaller jig was fire. Everybody's like, get a bait caster, bro. You'll love it. But nobody tells you how much a pain it is to dial in a new reel for that bait caster. Every time you tie on a lure, you just gotta dial it in. And we're not dialed in at all. Yeah, mudding is hard on gear, but I'll tell you what else is hard on gear. I'll take my rig down on the beach, and I give it a bath every time, but damned if salt water ain't hard on stuff. Hell, even just being next to the ocean is hard on stuff. Ah. We're getting bit almost damn near every cast. They don't feel big, and I can't get a decent cast because that lure's a little bit light. So, I mean, we're only getting a 20-foot run. But we're getting solid bites. We'll make our lives easier. I don't want to do it, but you know, everybody's, oh, get a bait caster, get a bait caster. But when you're sitting down, throwing a light lure Give me my spinning rod. You know? Like, to hell with all the hype about bait casters. I can cast a spinning rod after 12 beers while sitting on a cooler and eating a ham sandwich. I bet you can't do that with a bait caster. They're it depends on what you're doing, man. You know, right tool for the right job. If you're throwing, a big lure, couple ounces, 3, whatever, top water, plop, or whatever the case may be, they're great. But once you get down to something that's, quarter ounce or less, you're either just going to bird nest. Like I said, it all varies, right? If you can stand up and throw a bait caster and have like perfect form, sure, golden every time. But if you're sitting down with the chihuahua in your coat and a John boat, give me the... I'm not saying I can't do it. I'm just saying give me the open face. You know what I'm saying? Or spinning reel, whatever you want to call it. Oh, bro, easily 20 feet difference. I like that a lot, actually. I always like to have a worm out, but, sometimes you get wrapped up in the hype of, like, bait casters and all this other crazy crap. And don't get me wrong, I'll use a bait caster for certain things, like, everything's kind of got its own little time and place, right? I guess I could have just left that worm hook on it and, or that weight on there. But sometimes you start adding too much weight to it and it changes your action. We're gonna kind of just troll this area a little bit as we move towards a little bit of a different spot. Coming up on a creepy cabin. And, we'll see. There's about one more spot. And then we'll go up and we'll check out the beaver dam. think we're trolling just a wee bit fast. But that's alright. Half tempted to drop the motor down. Sorry for the vibration, but we're in some weeds. You only live once, right? I think we're dragging a fish. Hi, buddy. Oh, he's a big one. Fuck yeah. Catch of the day, boys. That's a big boy. We were dragging him. He was doing a little water skiing. Let's cut this motor off. He about a pounder. No QP here. Biggest one of the day. Hefty. That's what we're fucking here for. Let's go. Out in the middle of nowhere. Beautiful. Look at that mouth on that guy. Ha ha. Let's get him. Let's get him back in the water. Let's keep catching fish. This is why I do what I do. I mean, we are out here in the middle of nowhere. And pulling in largemouth bass, man. I mean, look at that guy. I mean, he is bellied up. Nobody's fished here in years. Let's get him back. Woo! Fish buzz, right? Like, that felt good, man. I am stoked about that. I mean, oof. And you're like, oh, a pound is nothing. But, here's the thing. If I catch a pound or if I catch 20 pounds, it's the same, right? The rush is real. It makes pushing through those lily pads absolutely worth it. We were just trolling along. I thought I snagged a weed, to be honest. And all right, boat's all turned around the wrong direction. Let's spin around. Like we're not in a lot of water here. I mean, it was deep enough, probably 3-4 foot, where I could put my prop down, so I'm not blasting water all over the place. But there is a little, I mean, like I said, it's a canal. It's maybe, 15 feet across. And there's different pockets that open up. And my goal is to fish. I don't know what my goal is. Just to have a good time. And I'm goal achieved, if that's the goal. But, yeah, man, fish number 2. But if we add that last 2, 3? No, we went on a little run there for a minute. Joe, this is kind of my backyard pond, to be honest. And I say kinda, because my backyard pond runs into this canal. And right now we are, I don't know. I don't know where we are, to be honest, 100%. Washington State, on the coast. I guess if you wanted specifics, you could Google, like, I don't know if I want to dox myself. Let's just say Washington State, middle of nowhere. Living our best lives. Yeah, like I said, my backyard is probably about a quarter mile behind us. We're in some kind of, I don't know if you want to call it a canal. I don't know if you want to call it it's not really a creek. I think it was dug to help move water from a larger lake into my lake. And I say lake, but we're using those terms very loosely. I would consider it a pond, depending on where you're at in the world. If you're in Arizona, it's probably a massive lake, but where I live, 7 acres is still predominantly a pond. Hey, good morning, good morning. Shout out to my neighbors to the north, and I mean, they are my neighbors. I'm out here in Washington State, close to Canada as you can get. And the question everybody wants to know is, what kind of Canadian? Are you like French Canadian? Oh no. Okay, we're a little snagged up there. We're going to fish this spot. There's down trees, open water to my left. We just hooked up a bass. We're about 30 yards from a creepy abandoned duck blind. Oh, okay. We found where the bass are. The catfish are kind of down on my part of the pond, but it seems like we're getting crushed right where we are. Stupid boat's turning. This lure change was a good move. Something's right there. I just don't like where my boat's kind of drifting. I didn't want to use an anchor. Yeah, bluegill, crappie. Not too many crappie, honestly. There was trout planted here back in the 90s. The state came through, planted some trout to help keep the bugs down. And anytime I'm fishing somewhere new, if you see a ton of bugs, it usually means, one, you got a lot of hot weather, or two, there ain't too many fish around. If you got a lot of fish around, they usually do a pretty good job on keeping the bugs down. And I realize it's the middle of the day, but I don't see mosquito one, so that's pretty awesome. Oh, just like that, we're on. He feels decent. What do we got? Oh, he a big boy. He about a pound. Another pounder all day long. Let's go. Come on. We ain't catching dinks. We catching healthy, largemouth bass. Look at this guy. Boom. Check out the bucket mouth on that. Let's get it. Give me a name and we'll get him back. Alejandro? Ferdinand. Alejandro. Let's go, Alejandro. Boom. Beautiful largemouth bass. Back you go, Bubba. I think we on the fish, boys. Yeah. Water temp's cold here, and like I said, it's crowded. You want those trophy bass, you gotta do a lot of pond management. This is all wild. Ain't no pond management here. This is just wild fishing. These bass have an endless food supply and not a lot of predators. We got some. We got eagles, we got herring. Oh, we got these goddamn things called cormorants. And Hey, shout out everybody in here. Walleye. You know, I haven't been walleye fishing in a long damn time. Salmon is my main go-to. I get salmon all all fall. I just got back salmon fishing on the largest river in Washington. If y'all got time, sorry, I know we hanging out, but if you're into fishing, man, check out my channel. I got lots of fishing, lots of camping. I might be your favorite outdoor channel, but you're gonna have to come find me. The algorithm's not gonna show you again, and just like that, we own. He don't count. Let's throw him back. He ain't even a cute. He a baby. Hey, go get your big brother. Oh man, we crushing it. I mean, we ain't even fishing. Every third cast, we picking up something. You know, I just got back. I always just get back, but I'm always gone. You know, I pretty fortunate, and there's a campground, about an hour and a half drive up into the hills, and you got to have a pretty decent rig to even get up there. It goes from about sea level to 500 feet in a couple mile stretch. And what I like about it is free. Free! You know, free camping is almost unheard of. Normally you got to spend big money to pretend to be homeless. But they went and dumped about 100 of those planted rainbows and 50 cutthroat into a maybe 12-acre pond. And I just got back from a 3-day fishing trip up there. And you couldn't miss. I mean, you throw that egg rig off the bottom, and you're pulling in a limit of 5 rainbow trout in 20 minutes. And nothing made me feel more middle-aged than catching goddamn planted rainbow trout. Like, are we even fishing? Like, this feels like fishing. I had to get in a john boat. I had to drive into the middle of nowhere to catch an 8-ounce bass. That feels like fishing. Sitting on a bank, catching a trout that somebody else put there isn't the same. It's not the same. It ain't the same to me. You know what I'm saying? Dinks for days. Ta-da! Didn't I tell you to go get your big brother already? You ever wonder if it's the same one you just hooked? Back you go, little fella. I wouldn't mind getting after some pike. If we talking trucks, I bought a 06 F-150 back in 06. I had just gotten out of the Navy, and I got 36-inch tires, 22-inch rims with the 6-inch lift, and they are the little rubber band tires because I thought I was cool back in the day, you know? But camshaft went to hell at about 200 30,000 miles. So, I just decided to replace the whole motor. Bought a Fraser crate motor and upgraded that camshaft. Put a cold air intake on it. Some shorty headers. And I wish I would have gone with the 5.0 Coyote motor. Because, you know, that 5.4 Triton gets a lot of hate. We set that hook a little too early. But we got... Here's the thing, man. There ain't nothing wrong with my truck. You know, you're like, oh, it's an 06, bro. You're never gonna get your money back out of it. Well, I ain't trying to sell it. You know, I ain't. And here's the thing. A new truck is 40 grand for a cheap one. And it don't have much more features than what I got in my 06 Lariat. You know, I put an aftermarket stereo, so I got the GPS, I got a backup camera, and I don't have $1,000 a month payment. You can keep those new rigs, man. I'm gonna fix what I got. You know, yeah, and I realized the 5.4 was hell because of those camshaft problems. So I fixed it, man. I upgraded it. Upgraded the bulletproof is what they call it. And now I'm kind of waiting for my rear end to go out or my transmission. But even if I dump $5,000 into that truck every year and upgrade, right? It's going to be a whole lot cheaper than getting one of these new rigs. And I like the thought of a Jeep because it'd be a little bit better on gas mileage than what I got. I don't know, man. I'm just, I like the truck. It was the first truck I ever bought new. It's the Lariat. So, yeah, I mean, it's got all the bells and whistles. And it's in good shape, you know? It's got the 22-inch fuel rims. It's got, you know, everything a newer truck has, minus the payment. Alright, I've been looking, you know, because it's always fun to window shop. But some of these newer rigs, they can drive themselves. And that's kind of neat. Like, you know, you can say, oh, I wouldn't trust a car to drive me, but I think I would, to be honest. I think I would. Maybe not yet, but that's kind of the dream, right? If I could just climb into a truck, fall asleep, wake up 8 hours later, and I'm in Bozeman doing some trout fishing. I think that's fantastic, right? Like, the only thing close to that's like a train, right? You kind of get in a train and it just shows up at your location, but we are going to move spots. The adventure continues. This spot was hot. I think we pulled out 2-pounders, and I don't want to get spot locked, but let's do that famous one last cast, right? How can you leave? How can you leave a spot in the middle of nowhere when you're catching fish? That just... To be honest, it feels like the same baby dink over and over again. What did I tell you before? Go get your big brother. Alright, let's move spots. There is something cool right in front of us here. And this is like the last house on this side of the lake before we... State Park's already over there, but there's some private house property on this side. But check this out. Cue the creepy banjo music. I can't see it yet. You can kind of see it. Let's pull up on it. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. Adventure awaits. Let's go. Anybody else getting West Virginia vibes? Wait for it. Creepy cabin coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cue the creepy cabin. Yeah. Adventure awaits. Let's get it. We are cruising. Cruising to the middle of nowhere. I kind of want to fish this little part of the pond. It opens up quite a bit. I mean, this looks fishy. And I always kind of blow past this spot because we're like super close to like the end of the line. But we gotta fish this. We got to. I mean, we just passed the creepy cabin. Let's throw the rooster tail around here. I've never had a problem with the brake. I did have a hell of a time after, those years are terrible for the air intake. It's just a big chunk of plastic shit. Takes up the whole engine compartment. Looks terrible. So I threw a aftermarket cold air intake. And had a hell of a time getting that. Not put in, but it wanted to throw a lean coat at me. And, oh wow, you guys can see the creepy cabin. Creepy cabin. There's like I said, the last house before we end up on state property, both sides, is right over there. I think that's an old duck blind, and it looks like it hasn't been used in probably 15, 20 years. There's a house about 100 yards that way. Yeah, Rusty, you know where we're at, bro. We just never stop here. We're always on a mission. This one, we're kind of focusing on fishing. This part of the pond's pretty clean. I mean, we're picking up a little bit stuff, but most casts we're still fishing pretty good. Except, oh, we're on the bank. That's okay. Sorry, that view's probably not as epic, but there's a weed line. That feels like a mistake. You guys want to stick around? I appreciate everybody for hanging out. Rusty, man. Hopefully you're getting some entertainment out of this. Shout out to everybody who's been here for a minute, taking the time to hang out with me on a Friday. But don't lie, y'all just here for the dog. Papery, shout out to you. Papa Chewy, man, thanks for hanging out. You know, what makes this easy for me is I can literally walk out my door and throw a line before I'm even off the porch, you know? If I had to travel to fish, I don't think I'd fish as much. You guys want a tree? We're squirrel fishing at the moment. Alright, let's try that again. Hey, shout out to the 20 people. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. Doing some remote fishing in the middle of nowhere. It's me and my sidekick. Located in Washington State. We already got a couple 1-pounders in the boat. More dinks than I count. And a couple QPs as well. Don't really have much of a mission here. Just kind of fishing, hanging out. Feels like a good day to be outside. This isn't the spot. I thought this would be the spot. I mean, it really opens up. Just kidding. This is the spot. Let's go. Bass everywhere. How can you miss? Hey. Go get your brother. Largemouth for the win. Let's get it. Well. I'd go ahead and report me for animal cruelty. That guy just took a header into the side of the boat. And now he's under my bench somewhere. Flopping around in about a 1/4 inch of water and pine needles. Come here. Alright. Back you go. Thing about them little ones is they're tough, right? Hey, I can't read that far away. Heidi's Chickens, Henderson Chicken, cute something. Hey, shout out to you, man. I appreciate everybody who's up in the chat. I really do. You know, it's like having a boat full of buddies. I'm glad y'all are here for it. Couple more casts. I always say last cast, but hard to leave a spot when you're catching fish. But adventure continues. I think we're gonna end up at a beaver dam. As Rusty knows, that's where I end up 9 times out of 10. Then I get up there and I tear a hole in it. And then I come out a week or so later and they rebuild it and I tear a hole in it again. It's the circle of whatever. Life? Oh man, that doesn't count. Yo. You guys want to talk about shooting fish in a barrel? Look, I ain't even going to cast it. I'll drag it through right here. This isn't fishing. I don't know what we're doing. How many people can one-handed catch a fish? No reeling. I mean, I might as well have got that damn thing on a stick, right? There was no cast. There was no reel. One-handed fish catch. Let's put that in the record books. Back you go, little fella. Ooh, the red snapper joke. I'm here for it, man. It's a classic for a reason. All right, we're either gonna fish or this whole dragging it. I'm literally just dangling my lure, dragging it through the bottom, and catching these fish one-handed. But I don't want them dinks. I want them dinks to go get their big brother. And they did. Alright, we in the QP range now. And I ain't talking about weed. We talking about fish weight. Let's get it. Bro, how can you be mad at that? I mean, anybody keeping score? Nice little quarter pounder. Look at the belly on that guy. A little fatso. Back you go, fatso. Oh. You know, kind of low-key having the best fucking day ever. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of it. Heat wave in Ontario. Hey, man, I'm sorry to hear that. That's tough. You know, it's kind of one of those grass is greener situations. I don't think I've, shit, I can't miss. You're right, they are hitting everything. This guy feels a little bigger, though. He a big boy. Nah, he another QP. I'll take these all day long, and we are. That was cast. I mean, our hookup ratio is crazy. You know, it's summer and you think spawn would be over, but, I mean, can't miss. He ain't a dink. He a good-looking fish. All right, let's roll. Yeah, man. Like I said, I haven't had more than one day above 70. And, but that's pretty common. You know, the ocean I live next to is pretty cold. Stays pretty cold. Average temp is around 50-something degrees. And occasionally this cloud cover burns off. But I am definitely in a moderate climate given my proximity to the ocean. What happened? I made a full retrieve without catching a fish. Is my lure broken? I'm just using, I don't know what you want to call it, a jig, I guess. What I'm currently using is a bird nest, known to every fisherman. I was fishing at a local pond, and this is just reference. If you guys fish, you probably know what I'm talking about. And I threw a bird's nest, and there's this guy, and I was catching probably just a little 1 pound bass, kind of like I'm doing now. And this, I don't want to I won't call him Russian, but he could have been from the Ukraine. And he comes up, he's like, "What are you fishing for?" And I said, "Bass." And he's like, "Oh, you have a bird," or not a bird, a beard. He's like, "Oh, you have a beard." And I'm like, "No, man, I shave." And he kept pointing to my reel, and he's like, "Beard, beard." And I said, and it took me a second, and he was talking about a bird's nest. I had a bird's nest on the line, and kind of like what I'm working out now. And he said, "Beard." And he's like, "Oh," and he told me where he's from, and I don't want to come across as racist. I'm just ignorant, all right? Like, for all intents purposes, or purposes of this story, he was Russian. Slavnik? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't want to insult the guy, but he's not here, so the risk of that is fairly limited. And yeah, curly tit, and then it's like it's a jig, but it's got a little blade on it. I think if we're being specific, it's a Colorado blade. We might just have to retie because we're cluster fucked here. Sorry for the delay in programming. Please enjoy the view. We'll be back to massively slaying fish here in about 30 seconds. I really should be running a swivel, but we're not. You know, you stop and you think about what you're doing for a second, and on the plus side, for the amount of weeds and the amount of trees and the possibility of snags, we're doing pretty good. I think this is the first time we've had to retie. Absolutely love this time of year. Got aggressive swallows. Sleeping dogs. John boat in the middle of nowhere. I think once I get tied up, I'm gonna continue the journey. There is a beaver dam. Oh, not too far. And I know I've been talking about this for a little bit now, but I had a personal vendetta against them. My pond level is about 4 feet lower than where it should be because of these damn beavers. So I go up there once a week, destroy part of their dam, and they rebuild it probably before morning. No, maybe, I don't know. They rebuild it, I tear it down, they rebuild it. But I haven't put any like real effort at it, you know? Like I don't bring shovels or tannerite or anything really too crazy. All right, we back. We're just gonna kick it in gear a little. We're gonna troll it probably off this side of the boat. We're gonna lean this way so we don't end up in the trees. Onward. Onward towards victory. Can we not? Come on. Come on with it then. Ooh, he pretty. We into some decent size, probably quarter pounders or so. And we can't miss. I mean, it's just fish after fish. Ugh. Bogging down, we got some weeds. Oh, we on a sandbar. Alright, we ain't even fishing. We hit some deep weeds. All of a sudden the boat went from 6 inches to on bottom. Oh, that ain't good. That's new. That just shows that the beavers have been busy. We're coming up on that. Oh, man. We're gonna take a second. We're gonna deep breath. Remember, hey, we're having fun. Right? That's what we're out here doing, having fun. This is shifted quite a bit. We just went from about 4 foot of water to almost instant sandbar. That's all right. We back on track. We're gonna take break from fishing, and I bet we're at that beaver dam in about 2 minutes. We're just plowing big sticks. We're actually throwing a wake, which is kind of crazy. I'm gonna turn you around. You guys will be able to see the beaver dam coming up in about 2 seconds. Put you guys on plane. It's been a while since I've been here. Last time I was here, I breached it in 2 spots. It looks like they got it pretty well. Wow. Tunk. Welcome to the beaver dam. Boy, they sure put in some work. You guys can see. Tilt you up a little bit. Let me lock my tripod. That's where I had it breached, on that corner over there. And I had it breached in the middle right there. But this is it. This is the beaver dam. I'm gonna find a place to dock the boat, and we'll hop out on shore and do some exploration. But that's what we got. I mean, pretty cool. What do you think, Rusty? Look bigger than last time? Yeah, all right. This is how adventure starts. Yeah, I mean, this is huge. That's where we breached it before. Breached it in the middle, and they doubled down on that side too. Easy target spots, that middle right there. I mean, let's pull up on it. I'm gonna let my dog out. She's been a great sport. But let's dock this boat and Rusty, YouTube tried to straight up censor you, bro. They're like, we held this comment for review. And I'm like, he didn't even say anything. It made it sound like you were like killing babies or something. I don't know, man. That was weird. Let's grab our anchoring system, which happens to be a big ass cinder block. Should we fish? We should fish. Gotta fish right off the beaver dam, right? Otherwise, like, what are you doing with life? We gonna grab that little jig. Of course. Joy of a two-piece. Grab the rod, and you only get half of it. That's okay. We'll throw that up on the bank. Alright. Shit. Good news, the dog's okay. We're back. A little minor. If you guys can get out of a John boat and onto a beaver dam with a dog in your coat more gracefully than I just did, you're a better YouTuber than I am. We're all kinds of discombobulated. All right, we're on land. Successfully made it to land. Let's let the tweenie out. Be free. She's like, I don't want down. It's cold. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Let's regroup a little bit. Sorry about that. I know you guys are super close. Let's turn you around. Let you look. There you go. Doug Trout Fisher. Awesome, man. I think you've been here. Sorry, before I was just a little far away to read screen names. But, I mean, this thing... If you go back and look through some of my older content, I mean, older by a week, I've busted up this dam. Hey, come on. You're going to fall off. Probably half a dozen times. And this is where they've built it back the craziest. That dog on the cliff is making me nervous, but let me let me take a break. I've been at this for a minute. We'll hop down there. We'll do some fishing. I mean, you imagine those fish to be trapped up on either side. Let's get our two-piece back together. We've been on fire with this little jig. And, to be honest, this is one of my favorite places to camp. It's out in the middle of nowhere. I think it's state land, or I think we call it DNR land. But this is one of my favorite places. That dam didn't used to be there, and I could run the boat. Oh, I don't know, like another 5-6 miles, and eventually end up in a larger pond. But it kind of got overgrown, couldn't go into the larger pond. Hey, Bailey. And just like that, we're headed into the forest. I'll show you guys this is like my stomping grounds. I've been up here quite a bit. But this is where I built a, sorry, we'll put you to do everything. This is where I built my first bushcraft shelter, right? Like a I think every middle-aged guy wants to build a bushcraft shelter at some point in their life. And this was my attempt. I'll show you. Now, it doesn't look much, but when I did it, these green boughs, it's a big A-frame. And got the old tarp there. That's not my tarp. That tarp and that bucket aren't mine. I don't leave trash in the forest. But that's what we got. Just a giant, I don't know what you want to call it, lean-to / A-frame. That rope is mine. I'll take credit for that. But I ran a hammock between that tree and that tree. But that was my ladder. I was probably 20 feet up. If you go search my channel, there's an old video, 20 feet up in a Temu hammock. But this is one of my favorite spots to camp. And there's lots of game that run through here. Let's head back out. I am itching to throw that lure around on that beaver dam. And then possibly, I say possibly, but I know for sure. I know me. I am for sure going to tear a hole in it. It used to be the edge, but goddamn, there's probably 800 pounds of crap there. I think I'm just going to tear a hole in the middle. But first, I want to throw a line out. See if I can't catch some bass. I don't want to say this is a YouTube first, but I can't imagine too many people live fishing from a beaver dam in the middle of nowhere. Chihuahua drop. Chihuahua secured. I mean, I don't even have to really... I do. Let's see what happens. We'll flip you around. Snapdragon's pretty, huh? Let's do it. Let's get right down in here. In for a penny, in for a pound. You know, I don't know why I keep saying that. I'm not British. I don't even know what a pound is. For the Canadian viewers, if you're in for a loon, you're in for a toonie. That's a fun story. When I was a young man, I was a sailor in the United States Navy, and we pulled into Victoria, Canada. I was on a ship, and we pulled into Victoria, Canada as like a port call, and I went to I want to say Monty's strip club in Canada. It's one of the oldest. And I thought it was quite weird because their currency goes up to like $3 to $4 coins. They don't have any small bills. And you're like, well, who cares? What do you use small bills for anyways? And the answer to that is the strip club, right? You use small bills to tuck into adults' G-strings. That's what you use small bills for. So have you ever made it rain with coins? It's a very weird experience. to throw strippers change. You're throwing change at strippers, and they got to figure it out because when you go to the bar, you drop your change in the tip jar, and I'm handing this guy 20s, and I'm dropping my change in the tip jar, but I'm tipping this guy like $5 coins. And I didn't even know. I didn't even know that was a thing. I can't even remember what them Canadian strippers look like. You would think they'd be all covered in flat and have French accents, but I remember the change system. Anyways, that's the story on how I learned to use the Canadian system, coin system, money system. So if you're just getting here, we are live fishing on a beaver dam in the middle of nowhere. And I was really expecting this to be like the honey hole, right? Like I was thinking like, man, this is like a newly created pond. But to be honest, fishing was better downstream. Which is weird. Trying to get oh, it ain't that deep there. Maybe 4 foot. Thing out here is it's low, so it's got room to go shallow. Couple more casts, and then I think we're gonna sorry, I can't see the chat at the moment. If you're just getting here, welcome. Hope everybody's having a great Friday. Thanks for adventuring with me. All right. Couple casts there. And I knew this was... you start out fishing, and you always end up at a beaver dam tearing holes and shit. And that's the plan here. Let's do a little beaver dam deconstruction. That's the plan. Spiral moss. I don't know if you already clicked off. Sorry, I couldn't see chat for a second there. And James, welcome. Oh, we're just on. Wow, that flower looks pretty picturesque, right? Pick that, give it to the wife. Snapdragons, super deadly. But all roads lead to tearing apart this beaver dam, probably for the 5th time. Did I bring any gear? No. Do I have muck boots on? No. Am I completely under-equipped for this task at hand? Absolutely. But let's make it happen anyways. They went real heavy on these sides. I'm thinking the move here is here, right? Like, and if you're wondering where you put a tripod on a beaver dam, I'm wondering the same thing. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, what did I call it? It is foxglove. I said snapdragon. 100% foxglove. You are right. And they are not friendly at all. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out the best place for you guys. Where I'm standing now is what I'm going to take out. Trying to get you angled to where you're going to be best suited. You know, these beavers are just terribly inconsiderate. You'd think they would have designed this more YouTube friendly. But this channel right here is what's gonna go. And these are pretty crafty little animals. They weave in sticks and mud and grass, and they weave it all together to form like a layer of concrete. This looks like it's going to be a pretty big hole pretty quick, though. All we got to kind of do is take this top layer off. Once you get that, smells terrible out here like a skunk. But once you get that top layer off, that water is going to kind of start to help you. This part goes pretty quick. All right, that's a successful breach. Not very big yet, but all big things come from small starts, right? I'll show you. First breach of the beaver dam. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. All right, success, success. I mean, we just keep doing what we're doing. All right, successfully breached. Let's get it. No, not a very wide hole, but it's a hell of a start. Well, oh, sorry guys. That's a successful breach. Is it going to make any difference in the world of this beaver dam? Absolutely not. Do I feel better about it? Yeah, there's probably, I don't know, 20, 30 gallons of water per hour flowing through there. All right. I'm going to call that a mini win. But the fishing's been so damn hot lately. That is what I want to do. Normally, I hang out here and I play with this beaver dam for hours. But, I mean, you can see we got the breach right there. Let's leave these beavers alone. Let's get back in the boat. And yeah, spade, shovel. I'm gonna make a whole long form video about it. I'm gonna come out, I'm gonna put some work in. I would really like to get rid of this because it is keeping my pond levels a lot lower than what they should be. But let's load back up, let's get in the boat, and let's go catch some fish. Yo, like, I did my thing here, pokes a hole in the dam. I mean, they'll have that fixed by morning, no doubt about that. But I at least let them know I was here, right? Like, I let them know that there was at least a big kid on the block. Can we get back into the boat is the $1,000,000 question. I know we can't do it gracefully, but we're gonna try. We're really gonna try because we don't want to spill our soda. That's where... Okay, it's like we know what we're doing. Let's get our anchor back. Anchors redeployed. Back in the boat. And we're off, just like that, we off. Well, what is that blue sky behind me? Holy crap, the sun's coming out and it's not even tomorrow. Hey, can you guys hear me? Mic check. Anybody? Weird. Hey, I think my wireless mic died. I apologize. Can you guys let me know if the audio is working? Hey, let's see the damn it. Thanks, Rusty. That's what we got. Beaver Dam, middle of nowhere. hole currently pushing us downstream. Mini breach. Man, last time I was here, I breached this side, and they really filled that in. Little middle gap, I think. And we getting pushed. Let's do some fishing. Fishing's been hot. No, wrong way. Got to figure out how to use a trolling motor. Well standing. What about live streaming? Oh my goodness, the sun has come out. Let's put you guys in your boat position. You need a brick though, otherwise you guys are gonna go for a swim, and I don't want that. How we looking? Shaky as hell? All right. Oh, of course. All right, we back. Why? Why is it leaning? Are you guys going to be able to live with the lean? You guys will probably live with it easier than I will, but it's a boat. Okay. Poked a hole in a beaver dam. I mean, that feels like a win within itself. Couldn't figure out why I didn't have any lure on my rod, but then I realized I'm using my spinning rod. I'm going to have to fix that tripod. I realized it's not the boat, it's where I'm sitting. If I want to level it out, I just lean to this side. We on a cruise. We're going to cruise back slowly, and we're going to catch some fish. No. Who's driving this thing? Why? Has your line ever gotten so tangled in a way that you're like, how is that possible? And you're genuinely wondering, like, I call it fishing miracles. Not like in a good way, but like, there is no way what should have happened just happened, and yet it did. Problem is, when you're driving in a 6-inch, or not 6, yeah, probably 6 inches of water, 8 foot across the canal. You gotta pay attention to what you're doing. Oh, we're getting bites. We're catching fish. I mean, we're gonna let that out just a little bit, but I don't think we need to. We're gonna slowly cruise back. We ain't that far from the house, but we're just on a low and slow crawl. Just got back from that beaver dam. Trying to avoid that big sandbar. There was a big old sandbar that just got created here. I don't know. Fish are turning over right in front of us. We might stop at a couple of spots where we catch some more fish. I think we just went over the top of that sandbar. We weren't even fishing. It is the weirdest thing. This sandbar just popped up in the middle of nowhere. I didn't think there'd be enough current to really be moving that sand like that. But, I mean, when stuck on a sandbar, you might as well fish it, right? We on. There is for sure fish here. Probably more of those mid-sized bass. And we're going to catch them. One more and then we'll move on. No, I think we're just snagging weeds. Let's, not skunk cover. Why? Oh my God, the sun will come out right now. Stuck on a sandbar. I just want my boat to float. Oh, that's why our prop is stuck. There we go. Now we back in business. The sun's coming out. What is going, dude? I'm not gonna lie. Like, today is the best fucking day ever, man. It wasn't supposed to get sunny. I didn't think I'd catch 15 fucking fish today. I poked a hole in a beaver dam. Let's ride this